Bullwinkel is. Might remember that guy. He likes to fall off sidecars. He should be coming in from that direction there.
Wheels are screaming on the asphalt wild. Leather vests and patches worn with pride. Winds are anthem, the roads are guide. Brotherhood riding side by side. We roar like thunder through the night. Chains and steel reflect the light. Bound by honor, bound by code. Military hearts on the open road. Open road. Scars of battle etched in our skin. Road dust mingles with where we've been. Each mile of memory, each turn and tale. Together we ride through fire and hell. We roar like thunder through the night. Chains and steel reflect the light. Bound by honor, bound by code. Military hearts on the open road. The flag's on our back, it never falls. We've answered duties, endless calls. Now the road's our mission, our escape. Brothers in arms forging our fate. We roll like thunder through the night. Chains and steel reflect the light. Bound by honor, bound by code. Military hearts on the open road. Road. We open road. Military hearts on the open road. Open road. Open road.
Lieutenant Colonel Vivian Bullwinkel, A.O. Early life. Vivian Bullwinkel was born on the 18th of December, 1915, in Kapunda, South Australia, to George Albert and Eva Bullwinkel, née Shegog. She had a brother, John. She attended Broken Hill High School, where she was school captain in 1933. She trained as a nurse and midwife at Broken Hill, New South Wales, and began her nursing career in Hamilton, Victoria, before moving to the Jessie McPherson Hospital in Melbourne. Second World War. In 1941, wanting to enlist for service in the Second World War, Bullwinkel volunteered as a nurse with the Royal Australian Air Force, but was rejected for having flat feet. She was, however, able to join the Australian Army Nursing Service, assigned to the 2nd 13th Australian General Hospital, 2nd 13th AGH. In September 1941, she sailed for Singapore. After a few weeks with the 2nd 10th AGH, Bullwinkel rejoined the 13th AGH in Johor Bahru. Japanese troops invaded Malaya in December 1941 and began to advance southwards, winning a series of victories. By late January 1942, they were advancing through Johor, and the 13th AGH was to evacuate to Singapore. A short-lived defense of the island ended in defeat, and on 12th February, Bullwinkel and 65 other nurses boarded the SS Viner Brook to escape. 2 days later, the ship was sunk by Japanese aircraft. Bullwinkel, 21 other nurses, and a large group of men, women, and children made it ashore at Raji Beach on Banka Island. Others on board either went down with the ship or were swept away and never seen again. The group were joined the next day by others, making a total of about 100, including about 20 British soldiers from another ship sunk earlier. They elected to surrender to the Japanese. An officer from the Viner Brook walked to Moontalk, a town on the northwest of the island, to contact the Japanese. While he was away, Matron Irene Drummond, the most senior of the Australian nurses, suggested that civilian women and children should start off walking towards Moontalk. In an action that later became known as the Banka Island Massacre, Japanese soldiers came and killed the men, then motioned the nurses to wade into the sea. They then machine-gunned the nurses from behind. Bullwinkel was struck by a bullet, which passed completely through her body, missing her internal organs, and feigned death until the Japanese soldiers left. She hid with British Army Private Cecil George Kingsley of the Royal Army Ordnance Corps for 12 days, tending to his severe wounds, only then realizing the extent of her own wound before being captured. They were taken into captivity, but Kingsley died soon after from his injuries, which included a gunshot wound in his abdomen. Recent evidence collected by historian Lynette Silver, broadcaster Tess Lawrence, and biographer Barbara Angel indicates that Bullwinkel and most of the nurses may have been sexually assaulted before they were murdered. However, Bullwinkel was gagged by the Australian government from speaking about the rapes at the Tokyo War Crimes Tribunal in 1946. Bullwinkel was reunited with survivors of the Viner Brook. She told them of the massacre, but none spoke of it again until after the war, lest it put Bullwinkel, as witness to the massacre, in danger. Bullwinkel spent 3.5 years in captivity, together with Betty Jeffrey, Wilma Oram, and Margaret Dryburgh. Dryburgh, the eldest, died in captivity at the age of 54. Another surviving nurse was Pat Darling, who died in 2007. Later life. Bullwinkel at the Tokyo War Crimes Tribunal in 1946. Bullwinkel retired from the Army in 1947 and became Director of Nursing at the Fairfield Infectious Diseases Hospital. Also in 1947, she gave evidence of the massacre at a war crimes trial in Tokyo. She devoted herself to the nursing profession and to honoring those killed on Banka Island, raising funds for a nurses' memorial and serving on numerous committees, including a period as a member of the Council of the Australian War Memorial, and later president of the Australian College of Nursing. In 1975, Operation Baby Lift, the name given to the mass airlift of Vietnamese orphans to Australia and US, for its second delivery, chose Fairfield Infectious Diseases Hospital as the most suitable specialist facility to receive them. Matron Bullwinkel organized and led a nursing team that traveled to Sydney to board the Qantas 707 for the flight to Vietnam on the 17th of April, 1975. Bullwinkel married Colonel Francis West Statham in September 1977, changing her name to Vivian Statham. She returned to Banka Island in 1992 to unveil a shrine to the nurses who had not survived the war. She died of a heart attack.